Why you are here tonight?
Yeah, my name is Joe Carroll. I am representing the Rocky Mountain Student Media Corporation as well as the Circuit de Francais, which is our local French club. Yeah, and just wanted to kind of see what the state of the association is like.
How are you feeling? Are you excited? Scared?
A gala's a gala. I am pretty content. I'm excited to see kind of what our president has to say, kind of hear from our student body and get a better understanding of what the political life here at CSU is like.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great time.
Thank you.
Is that good?
Yeah, it was good. You feel like every time.
I will say watch out though, because if we are staying on live cam, audio might be live, so watch what you say. Maybe we can leave.
For a quick interview? Perfect. My name's Maddie. What's yours?
I'm Emily.
Nice to meet you. So why are you here tonight at the State of the Union? Are you interested in ASCSU or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm a new member of the elections committee, so I'm just coming to hear everyone speak and get more involved.
That's great. Are you looking forward to anything tonight?
I think just hearing what everyone has to say and, being with community.
Perfect. All right. Well, have a great evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Crank the camera down.
I was going to. I was ready.
How do you feel? He's like, awesome.
So what's your name?
Anuj.
Nice to meet you. And why are you here at this event tonight?
I'm an associate senator for APAC.
Awesome. And what are you most excited for this event?
Probably hearing from some of the people, like the president, and I'm pretty sure Speaker of the House too. So I'm so excited to hear from them.
Awesome. And what made you want to get involved with ASCSU?
I just wanted to get involved with CSU, and I know some of my friends were involved in ASCSU, so I asked around and then asked them how I can join, and then I just joined with their help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for letting me talk to you. I hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to distract.
Hi, excuse me. Would you like to be interviewed? We're with CTV.
Oh, sure.
Hi, I'm Karma. Why are you here tonight?
I am here because I actually helped put on the event. I'm with the Chief of Staff office. And yeah, I'm here to just listen to all the good things that ASCSU have done and how they have advocated for students this year.
What are you most excited for or looking forward to with this night?
I'm excited to hear all the speeches and to just be with the community.
Well, thank you. I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, thank you. You as well.
Main role is chair of BSOF, which is the Board for Student Organization Funding. Essentially what we do is fund registered student organizations events on campus. It's just, bringing the students back together. And a few other things what we do is like travel grant, seed grant. Travel grant is for students who, want to go on educational related expenses. And seed grant is a $300 grant for any new RSO. So if you're an RSO, apply! Look at that. If you're an RSO, please apply. And then where can they find that information at? If you look up ASCSU funding, it'll be on the site. Perfect. All right. Anything else you're looking forward to tonight? The food. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with me, and I hope you have a great night. Thank you. You too.
Yeah,
have a good
bye.
night.
Sure. Awesome. So what's your name?
My name is Madeline Camberg.
Nice to meet you, Madeline. And why are you here at this event tonight?
I'm our ASCSU 50. Excuse me. I'm our ASCSU 54th Senate parliamentarian, and I'm giving a speech tonight.
Awesome. So what's your speech about?
Just the work that we've done this year as a Senate and the state of our association.
Cool. And what are you hoping to get out of this event, or like what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to every part of ASCSU being in community together. We operate our various branches somewhat independently, and we don't have a lot of things that bring us all together all at the same time to be in community like this. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I hope you enjoy the event.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise.
To be interviewed about like for CTV. Okay, that's all right. That's okay. CTV about what brought you here tonight?
Okay.
Yes. I'm Karma.
Hi, Karma. I'm Amy.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
What brought you here to this event tonight?
Well, ASCSU. I mean, I'm the president of CSU, but I'm also an ASCSU alum. So anytime I can come back and support ASCSU, I'm going to do it.
What are you looking most forward to tonight?
Well, I am looking forward to all the remarks, but especially Nick. I've been working with him for 2 years, and I know he's about to graduate. So I love to hear from the seniors.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. I hope you have a great night.
Thanks. You all look so beautiful.
Thank you. You too.
Perfect. All right. So I'm Maddie. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
I'm Trisha.
Trisha, nice to meet you. All right, so tell me a little bit about this event tonight. What's going on and why are you attending?
I am on City Council, and I was invited by ASCSU, and I'm just excited to hear it's a new event, and I don't know a whole lot. I'm expecting something along like State of the City, or State of the State, or State of the Union.
Yeah, absolutely. And then is there anything in particular you're looking forward to this evening?
Just seeing everybody in their fun get-ups and hearing a little bit more about how student government's going at CSU.
All right, thank you so much, Trisha. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Yeah, bye-bye. So it's just a student media channel that we have here on CSU. Of course. Yeah, of course. I can grab that for you while we do this quick interview. Can I just lay it on the floor right over here? Yes, of course.
Great, awesome, thank you.
Do you want both of us or one at a time?
Oh, we can just do one at a time. That'd probably be a bit fast. Yeah, thank you so much.
My hair look.
Looks great.
Oh my gosh, you're too kind. Perfect.
Can I ask what the question is? Or
Yeah,
is it on the
I'm
spot?
right here. So just go ahead. My name is Maddie. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
My name is Amika. Nice to meet you as well.
Perfect. And then what are we doing here at this event tonight? Little ASCSU.
We are here to celebrate all of the ASCSU members for the hard work they have done throughout the semester and recognize the dedication that they have put throughout the year.
Great. And then are you a part of ASCSU or are you just in attendance to help celebrate?
I am a part of ASCSU. I am a senator and I represent APAC, which is the Asian Pacific American Cultural Center. And I'm also the vice chair of the DEI Affairs Committee.
Perfect. And then is there anything you're looking forward to tonight?
I'm just looking forward to see all of the speeches and just to see what everybody's been getting up to and just, and be in community of how we've been working hard together as an ASCSU as a whole.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you, you as well.
Bye. I was trying to interview the dogs, but they never came.
No.
No, okay. That's Hi, what's your name?
I'm Victoria Stoner.
Nice to meet you. And what are you doing at this event tonight?
I'm here because I'm part of ASCSU.
Awesome. What made you want to get involved with ASCSU?
I am actually new to ASCSU. I'm an intern right now, but I really wanted to get involved and like help out our students and kind of get like within that student body voice and advocate for the people around me as well.
Awesome. And what are you looking forward to the most about this event tonight?
Honestly, the speakers. I'm excited to hear them and excited to hear what they say.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. Have fun at the event.
Yes, thank you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Maddie. What's your name?
Jakai, nice to meet you.
Perfect. All right, so tell me a little bit about this event tonight, what's going on, and why are you here?
It's all the things. So I serve as the Chief of Staff for ASCSU's Executive Branch. Last year this event was like on a smaller scale and we just held it in our Senate chambers. But the purpose of this event is to tell students what ASCSU does, and a lot of students simply don't know. And so in thought of like how we scale that up, we are here tonight at the State of the Association address with all the tables. I like to call it the full out version of the event. And so I'm hoping that this night will be a moment for students to really gauge and understand what we are, what we do, and all the things. So thank you all for being here too. Student media, woo woo.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit about ASCSU in general, since you said a lot of people don't know what it is or how it runs and things like that.
Good one. ASCSU is the primary body that functions to advocate for students and provide not only advocacy but support throughout campus. And so when students need anything, right, we aim to be that backbone of support for them, and regardless if we fall short sometimes, you know, we may, but we do aim to be that backbone of support for students, and truly we are striving to be better for students every day. And so holistically, advocacy, funding, resource sharing, thought sharing, all the things, that's what ASCSU is.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then if students want to get involved on campus with ASCSU or in some form with that, what would you recommend?
I'd recommend that students apply for our rotational internship programs. There's something that we just started this year. Shout out to Deputy Chief of Staff Jillian Cook. She started a program that allows people to join ASCSU and rotate through all of our departments in the executive branch to get a feel for what we do.
That's great. Awesome. Well, are you looking forward to anything else tonight?
I'm looking forward to everybody's speech because I know they're going to say great things, and I'm so proud of my colleagues and all the work they've done this year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. Have a great night.
Have a good night.
my name's
Hello.
Karma. What's yours?
Good to meet you. I'm Braxton Dietz.
Nice to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about ASCSU and what this event is about?
Yeah, well, ASCSU, as I'm sure you know, is your student government, your student advocacy arm on campus. So we kind of this year have split our priorities between affordability and student experience. So making CSU a place where students around the state and around the nation want to come here, want to get this student experience that we offer, but it's still at that affordable and accessible price that our land grant mission mandates.
Definitely. What made you want to be a part of ASCSU?
Yeah, well, I talked Nick into running as his vice president, so that was, I guess, the biggest thing. But my freshman year, I started as a senator for the Liberal Arts College. Started a transportation program then, and it just kind of took off. I have a love for CSU and a love for advocating for students, and so I couldn't ask for a better job on campus.
Well, I definitely love that. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Tonight, I'm looking forward to hearing all of the words of wisdom offered, and we've also got some incredible folks in the room. We have President Parsons. We have various elected officials, county commissioners, representatives from the Capitol, and so it's wonderful to see ASCSU's connection to that elected aspect, and being able to bring those folks in and let students advocate for themselves, show their own voices.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited for this night, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
Awesome. So what's your name?
Hi, my name's Enoch Menanti.
Nice to meet you. And what are you doing here tonight at the event?
Oh, well, I'm just here to see all the great things ASCSU as an organization has done over its tenure in this administration, as well as support plenty of the people who I know and love and support who are going to be out here killing it.
Awesome. And what are you looking forward to the most about the event?
I'm going to be looking forward most to the shout-outs to the great people doing all that great hard work for the student body.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you talking to me. I hope you enjoy the event.
Absolutely. And I love your outfit.
Thank you so much. I love yours too.
Thank you. Have a
Okay,
good
you too. Hayden, nice to meet you. So tell me about this event tonight and why you're here.
Yeah, the State of the Association is something I believe ASCSU has done for quite some time now, just to kind of update both ourselves and the students on what's happening in ASCSU. I came tonight because I'm the Speaker of the Senate of ASCSU, so I lead the legislative branch, so I get to kind of give some updates on that and what the Senate has been up to.
Amazing. And then kind of tell me what your position in ASCSU entails. Like, what are you doing on a daily basis, things like that?
It's a lot of kind of managing Senate sessions and getting prepared for those, as well as being in contact with students and being somebody who's able to connect them with people that they need to address the issues that they want to address on campus.
That's perfect. And then is there anything specifically that you're looking forward to tonight or this evening at this event?
I'm excited to be in this new space. I don't think that we've held it in this building, so I think this is cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with me, Hayden. Have a great night.
Thanks, you as well.
Please, at this time, go ahead and try to find your seats. We will be beginning in approximately 1 minute, and I'm being serious this time. Everybody. Students, faculty, staff, alumni, and distinguished guests, it is our honor to be standing before you tonight as your co-hosts for the 2025 Annual Associated Students of Colorado State University State of the Association Address. Thank you for being here.
My name is Adam Macapa, and I'm a second-year graphic design major with a minor in business administration. My associations to campus are the social media manager for CTV, a student-run news anchor here at CSU, who are also around the room covering this live, so shout out to y'all. As well as I am the senior marketing director for a student organization, United Men of Color.
And I know I see a lot of familiar faces in the room, but for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Joseph Godshaw, and I'm currently a third-year CSU student studying political science and business financing. I'm currently serving as ASCSU's Director of Public Relations, and outside of this role and my academics, you'll find me on campus, all over, through many different RSOs, out in the community in Fort Collins, and then mainly through my fraternity, Phi Kappa Theta. And at Colorado State University, we have the tradition of starting our events by honoring and recognizing the original stewards of the land where our campus is now located. It is my pleasure to share our land acknowledgement statement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
It is an absolute honor to stand before you today as we come together for the 2025 State of the Association event. This event is more than just a reflection on what ASCSU has accomplished this year. It is a testament to the strength of student leadership, the power of collaboration, and the impact we make when we raise our voices for positive change. Whether you're a longtime affiliate of ASCSU or you just heard of us earlier today when I made you RSVP on the plaza, I want to take this time to thank each and every one of you for your time. So much time has been given to make this happen. And as I've mentioned before, my name is Joseph. I'm currently serving as the ASCSU Director of Public Relations. This is my third year in ASCSU, currently second year working underneath the DeSalvo administration. This year it's the DeSalvo Dietz administration. Thank you for them for putting all of this on. And before this, I served ASCSU as the Deputy Director of International Affairs and as a Senator for the College of Liberal Arts. It is through these roles that I've seen ASCSU grow, both literally and figuratively. Over the past years, ASCSU has worked tirelessly to advocate for the needs of our student body, enhance campus life, and ensure that every student at CSU feels heard, represented, and empowered. From legislative initiatives sponsored by our amazing Gov Affairs team, to community engagement fostered by the best of a best marketing department. I belong to marketing, it's the best, promise. To student resources made easily accessible by our basic needs team, to campus-wide events hosted by our amazing traditions deputies and department. Our work has been driven by one simple but powerful goal: to make this university a better place for all. And I'm proud to say that I've seen this accomplished by our amazing executive team. It is practically impossible to choose the best executive department. I'm being sarcastic. It's very easy to choose the best executive department. That's marketing. We covered that. Nonetheless, tonight you will hear from all sorts of dedicated leaders who have devoted their time and energy to making a difference. We will reflect on our progress, acknowledge the challenges that still lie ahead, and most importantly, reaffirm our commitment to serving this student body with integrity, passion, and purpose. As we begin this evening, I invite all of you to think about what it truly means to be a part of this community. ASCSU is not just an organization, but rather a platform for student voices, a force for change, and a symbol of what we can achieve when we come together with a shared vision. So whether you're here as a student leader, a faculty member, or a guest, or simply someone who just cares about the future of CSU, I thank you for being a part of this journey. Your engagement, your passion, and your belief in the power of student leadership is what makes all of this possible. With that, let's get started. It is my pleasure to kick off the 2025 State of the Association event by inviting the beautiful voice of singer Jasmine Retlin to perform His Eyes Were on the Sparrow, followed by our national anthem. Please give her a warm welcome. Thank you.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? For Jesus is my portion. A constant friend is He. His eye is on the little bitty sparrow, and I know He watches over me. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Jasmine, for bringing the house down and putting it back together. Now, big shout out to the Vice President who's consistently marching us to victory. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our first guest speaker, Vice President Braxton Deeds.
Well, good evening, everybody, and I would like to begin today by acknowledging some of the partners, friends, and members of ASCSU here with us today. Minority Whip Armagos, Representative Leader, Representative Ferret, Representative Don Sukla, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, Commissioner Kefalis, Assessor Overbeck, Mayor Arndt and Councilmember Canonico, President Parsons, Vice President Cipriani, Hughes, and Munn, Associate Vice President Kennedy, Dean Chesson, Directors Dove, Housley, Lee, Maxwell, John Miller, Lucas Miller, Norris, Rajan, Ruff, Sombrom, and Wack, President DeSalvo, and the members of the ASCSU Senate, Speaker Taylor and the senators of the 54th ASCSU Senate, Chief Justice Wright and the justices of the ASCSU Supreme Court, and last but not least, the presidents and leaderships of fraternities, sororities, and campus organizations. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome. Student advocacy is an incredibly important and precious opportunity, but it also holds an immense amount of potential. As a student body vice president, I have been privy to hundreds of organizations, student governments from across the nation, and to the history of our own. I can honestly say that in comparison, the state of our association is stronger and more robust than I have seen to date. As proof, we have completely redefined the scope and role of student government and advocacy. Building upon the ideas of our predecessor, we hired a lobbying team to represent student interests at the state capitol, but we did not stop there. We built intentional relations with our local, state, and county elected officials out of the pursuit of the betterment of the CSU student body. Additionally, in my time in ASCSU, we have hosted over 50 elected officials on campus and connected them to hundreds of CSU students, enabling students to advocate for issues important to them and to find their voice and passion for participating in our democracy. In addition to these events, we have closely supported several pieces of legislation, among these House Bill 24-1007, which repealed U+2, and currently House Bill 1090, which, if we do our job right, will mandate transparency and junk fees in apartment complexes, among other industries. In addition to supporting legislation, we have met each year with nearly all members of the Joint Budget Committee to advocate for increased funding in higher education in the state of Colorado. Much of our work in advocacy is thanks to the relentless dedication of our governmental affairs team, so Director Wilkins and Deputy Directors Raggeth and Marquez, please stand and be recognized. The beauty of much of this work is that should it result in students' tuition bill being a bit lower or the prevention of unexpected fees on their rent bill, the majority of students will neither know nor frankly care how that happened, but it will make a significant difference in their wallets. Because this is an amazing paradox, as it forces us as student leaders to be workhorses instead of show horses, to expend more of our time, resources, and energy working to actualize the tangible difference and the potential for our association instead of promoting ourselves. When I look to government today, it is apparent that our nation has a severe shortage of these these show horses. Yes, these workhorses, and an overabundance of these show horses. However, I have confidence that many of the leaders being developed here in ASCSU will hold themselves to the higher standard of being characterized by the tangible impact of their work instead of the perception of their words. This university also holds an immense potential to grow into its own as a university nationally renowned for its commitment to both academic excellence and a vibrant student experience, as well as one that maintains the affordability and accessibility mandated in its land-grant mission. Higher education as a whole is approaching a projected enrollment cliff that will threaten many universities across the nation. To maintain enrollment, CSU must maintain attractive to the prospective student. This is why, as an association, we have revitalized favorited large-scale events and traditions, Grill the Buffs and Rail Jam, and enhance existing traditions, bringing a new life to student tailgating and adding the March to Victory to game day programming. Now, these could not have been actualized without the tireless work of our traditions team, so Director Blake and Deputy Directors Cummings and Weir, please stand and be recognized. Additionally, these events foster community and connection amongst our current RAMs. The young adults of America are facing a loneliness epidemic that threatens their mental health. As an association dedicated to the advocacy of CSU students, we must place ourselves at the forefront of this issue and pursue both proactive solutions, like those aforementioned programming, and retroactive solutions to this crisis. In the fall semester, we saw a launch of a project that I've been working on since my freshman year that provides an on-demand transportation service for physically, permanently, or temporarily disabled students or those traveling to the University Center for the Arts, dubbed the CSU Courtesy Shuttle. This shuttle ensures that no matter a student's physical condition, the university will continue to meet their transportation needs to prevent the degradation of their mental, social, academic, and physical well-being. This multi-million-dollar program took a village to actualize, so I would invite all of those who aided in the pitching, planning, or implementation of this program to please stand and be recognized. These are not the only issues that threaten higher education in the state of Colorado. By 2031, an estimated 73% of all job openings in Colorado will require some sort of post-secondary credential, and the state will be the #1 in the nation for the percentage of jobs requiring a bachelor's degree. However, the current trajectory of state funding does not allow institutions to attain the operational capacity needed to meet this demand. In other words, without a substantial change, Colorado will be educating the workforces of other states while other states educate our workforce. This is why a robust student advocacy is incredibly important to develop and maintain. As I look to the future of our association, I can definitively say that ASCSU has become the premier voice for the post-secondary student opinion in Colorado and a prominent developer of our nation's next generation of leaders, change makers, and innovators. To build and maintain upon this status, I have several pieces of advice, many of which I've learned the hard way, that I hope the next several iterations of ASCSU leadership heed. The first is to never look forward without first looking back. Many of the student leaders that came before you and I built the foundations that we now operate upon today, and any words of wisdom they may have to offer should not be taken lightly. The second is that not every hill is worth dying on. In these positions, you only have 1 year to leave your mark on the university, so it's advisable to choose 10 large-scale and incredibly impactful projects than to spread yourself and your team thin across 100 small and targeted projects. My third piece of advice comes from the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. He writes 2 lines: "If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same, and if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, nor walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. These jobs will drag you through the lowest valleys, and set you atop the highest mountains. But all the while, you must maintain a definition of yourself not inflated upon the work that you do, the praises of your advocates, or the connections that you make, nor degraded by your opponents, but by the role you have agreed to embody, a civil student servant." In closing, this job has created a special place in my heart for this university and all the students that attend it. When I find myself discouraged by the difficulty of this position and the very long hours that come with it, I look out my office window to see students passing by on the plaza, and I'm reassured that there's at least one CSU student, perhaps unbeknownst to them, whose entire collegiate experience has been positively altered by the work of somebody in this room today. I have confidence that many of the students sitting here today are our nation's next generation of leaders, change makers, and innovators, future politicians, business owners, industry leaders, and community advocates. As such, to the remainder of the semester and to future semesters, I expect more of what we have seen to date, a selfless service dedicated towards the betterment of our campus, our communities, and most of all, each and every single one of our 33,000 fellow Rams. Thank you very much and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Braxton. Glad we got that out of the way. I'm kidding. Braxton is a really good, close personal friend of mine. There's many words to describe him. There's a few that stand out, 4 to be exact. Star of the stage. If you're curious about what that means, Google his name. I'll now be passing over the spotlight to our amazing Director of Governmental Affairs, Ava Wilkins. It has been my pleasure to work with her and to learn from her over the past year and a half, I'd say. And from Date the Capitol to the Get Out and Vote initiative, Ava greatly embodies what it means to be a part of ASCSU. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Joseph. Braxton stole some of my thunder, but my name is Ava Wilkins, and I serve as your Director of Governmental Affairs for ASCSU. In the beginning of the year, our amazing Chief of Staff had us all write a line to put into our Executive Code of Conduct on how we would show up into the space every day. I said that I pledged to leverage my knowledge and resources to truly advocate for the well-being of all students. Whenever I wrote this in August, I don't think I really understood what that would entail in the political climate that we are in today. I stepped into the role in a unique position as the 2024 presidential election was ramping up, and there was a boost of student engagement around campus. My team and I were all trained to start to register voters, which was really exciting. We were out on the LSE Plaza registering new voters every week, updating the registration. We partnered with amazing organizations like New Era, Latinx Voters, to make sure that we were reaching as many students as possible. Then, after the presidential election, I was able to rebrand our annual community roundtable to an evening with our elected officials, which really its aim is to meet students with their local officials. This is more important than ever as we face a really changing federal landscape, to connect with your local, county, and state officials and talk to them about the issues that matter the most to you. Our students were able to choose tables based on topics and discuss issues like affordable housing, environmental issues, higher education funding, and public safety. This year, we are just 2 days away, school days I guess, from our annual day at the Capitol, which is another amazing opportunity to bring students directly down to the Colorado State Capitol and see the legislative process themselves. This year, we're going to be meeting with Lieutenant Governor Primavera. We'll take students on the House and Senate floor. We'll attend committee hearings. And most notably, we'll be meeting with over 25 state legislators for lunch, which I'm really excited about. We advocate for students every day, all day, and we try to educate them as much as possible, but there's no substitute for directly engaging in the legislative process and understanding how it works yourself. So whenever I pledged to advocate, I don't think I really understood what that would mean until now. So I've been challenged to see what really is advocacy? What does advocacy entail to me? And what does it mean to advocate for 33,000 Rams? To me, this year, it has meant meeting with all students as often as I can and truly listening to their perspective. Sometimes they bring up issues that I think are political lightning rods, and I'm a little nervous to tackle, but I have to remember they're not political issues, they're student issues. They impact how we all live in this world. To me, it means meeting with our local officials and discussing the problems that we're having. We've met with Fort Collins Mayor about problems that students were having at local bars. We meet with state legislators about problems that are impacting the whole state. And like Braxton said, we meet with JBC members who decide the budget and ultimately every single student's tuition at Colorado State University. To me, that is true advocacy. It's going into those spaces and advocating for the rights of all students and the interests of all students. I urge this next administration to take that advocacy seriously, to continue to develop our relationships, to continue to show up in these spaces, to listen to all students, and realize what advocacy means to you. We owe that to all of our students. Thank you.
I'm back. Thank you, Ava. Your passion for policy and advocacy is truly admirable. Now, I'd like to welcome to the stage our keynote speaker for tonight, current interim president of CSU Pueblo and former chief of staff under the Parsons administration, Rico Munn.
Well, good evening. Good evening. I appreciate that. It's not an empty room. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. It's my honor. I want to thank Nick and Braxton and Jakai for the invitation to be here. I do have a bone to pick, however. At the time that the invitation to speak came, it was in part because there was a belief that President Parsons wouldn't be available for the event. So I prepared comments with the understanding that Amy was not going to be in the room. Yeah. So there's a number of jokes that I have that I will be skipping as we go throughout the day because she's not supposed to be here. I'm just going to ignore that fact. I recognize that I'm in a room full of CSU alums, CSU student leaders, CSU staff members, and folks who have so many deep ties to CSU. Currently, I am not on staff for CSU Fort Collins. I'm not an alum of CSU, but I have deep ties here that I'm proud of. I first came to this campus in 1986 for a summer camp. And it was a camp where I met the woman who eventually became my wife. I came again in 1987 as part of honor choir, and the chance to really, have some great memories here with my school and some wonderful things happening on this campus. Then I came again in 1988 when my sister and my uncles were students here. And I would stay in the dorm room with my sister's boyfriend who was on the basketball team. And I was a horrible little brother. So the things I made that guy do and the things I made him buy me, it was hilarious. But my ties and my connections here are deep for me personally. And so I truly believe in the impact of CSU, both on a personal level and also on the impact that we can have across the state. And so I really enjoy and appreciate the theme of tonight, Let's Talk Impact. So I think if you're going to talk impact of your personal presence or the impact of your leadership, you have to be able to answer the question, what are you willing to risk? What are you willing to risk? Now I'm going to come back to that. I want to tell you just a little bit of story from my life. An abrazo a la esperanza, an embrace to hope. So from 1973 to 1990, Augusto Pinochet was the dictator head of Chile. He came to power in 1973 in a bloody coup. And today is not the time or place to go through all the things that happened during those 17 years, but suffice it to say that the acts of the Pinochet regime were some of the worst and bloodiest known in the history of mankind. So in 1990, when Pinochet decided to step aside and democracy started to come back to Chile, Amnesty International, the world's largest human rights organization, decided to bring a concert tour to Chile. In doing that, they invited 12 students from across the country to be part of that trip. I was fortunate enough to be one of those 12 students. And so in October of 1990, I got to spend a week in Santiago, Chile with Sting and Peter Gabriel and Ruben Blades. And remember, it's 1990, New Kids on the Block. It was an amazing trip. It was an amazing time to learn about the people and the history and the culture and the atrocities they had seen, and to welcome them back into the world with these concert tours. The name of the concert was An Embrace to Hope. And so as we were there that week and as we were there learning about the people, there was one particular day where we decided to, a group of us decided to jump on a bus with a bunch of the indigenous people. It was a group of largely 20-year-olds and some very young kids. We were all going to a protest march against Columbus Day in October of 1990. And so we're going there and we're learning about their issues and their concerns and about how they were going to protest. And along the drive, somebody hands back a bag of lemons. And I'm like, well, what is this? Clearly this isn't a snack. And they started to explain to me that this is for the tear gas. I'm sorry, what? Well, if you put a little bit on your skin and maybe even pinch a little bit in your eyes, it helps the tear gas not hurt so badly. And I had to pause for a moment because that was not explained to me before I got on the bus. And that was a new thing for me. That was really one of the first times in my life where I had to stop and think about what was I willing to risk for the things I believed in? What was I willing to put on the line for the things that were important to me? And what I can tell you today is I've been tear gassed in 3 countries across 3 continents. And I have a clear understanding of what is important to me, what I believe in, and what I'm willing to risk. And I think those are incredibly important components of mission-driven leadership, that understanding of your purpose and that understanding of what you're willing to risk. And what I can tell you here at CSU Fort Collins is that we are very fortunate to have a great model of that kind of leadership in our president, Amy Parsons. Amy is a mission-driven leader. And to be mission-driven, what that means is to have an understanding of the big picture, of those broad things that you will focus on, those broad concepts that you will fight for and that you will stay focused on, and not just those things of the moment, not just those individual gains, not those financial gains, but on the broad focus of that mission. It's incredibly important. And I know that because when Amy was named president of CSU in February of 2023, a couple of days later she gave me a call and asked about my interest and my availability to join her and work in this administration. I was flattered by the call. And one of the questions that I asked is, what is the work that you want to get done? And she talked about this thing, the equity excellence imperative, which was this concept in this document which came from a group that worked here at CSU, that talked about two main concepts. One, the idea that academic excellence without access was empty, right? It was not true excellence. And the same thing, that access without academic excellence was an unfulfilled promise. And that was her North Star, that focus on those concepts and those principles. And from that, she developed her key priorities, the things that we were going to focus on as part of her administration. First and foremost, student success. Secondly, making sure that we had world-class research and academics. Third, that we were competitive as an institution and continually build on that competitiveness. Fourth, that our outreach and influence impacted those around the state, but also those around the world. And fifth, strengthening democracy. All those things emanated from those ideas and from that work, and we began that work. Let me take a moment now to thank Nick and Braxton and all those who are part of the ASCSU administration for being partners in that work. A lot of the things that Braxton mentioned earlier, some of the efforts to build student support, to rally student spirit, all those things are about making this a place where people want to be, making this a place where you have strong access, where you have strong influence because people want to be here, they want to be part of what's happening here. You've been great partners. We want to thank you for that, and thank you, therefore, for the impact that you made. Give yourselves another hand for that. I've been particularly impressed by how long Nick's been able to be in leadership without getting a haircut. I didn't know that was possible, right? Especially when he's standing next to Braxton, who is the picture in the frame. Right? But your leadership and the work that you've put in is certainly something to be recognized and certainly something we want to honor. But I come back to my question, right? What is it you're willing to risk? Because again, the model that we're talking about tonight is that of President Parsons. And I want to talk about some of the risks that I've seen her take and how that plays into what it means to be mission-driven. Now, you may not be aware of this, but Amy likes to post pictures. Now, if you want to play a fun game of Where's Waldo, look back over pictures over the last year and a half and see if you can spot me in the background somewhere. Although I'm usually like off to the frame somewhere, but you can probably find me once in a while. But you know, she's posted a lot of things, right? A lot of pictures out there on a lot of different platforms. Now, again, this might be news to you, but the internet is not the nicest place. And particularly for a woman to be posting pictures of herself. The internet can be a difficult place. Some people see that as an invitation to comment. Some people see that as an invitation to raise horribly inappropriate things and inappropriate issues. So there is a risk by doing that work and doing those things. As somebody who also worked around her personal safety, I'll tell you, there's a risk of telling people where you are and what you're doing all the time. So why does she take on those risks? And I will tell you, it's not because she just likes to take pictures. I will tell you that it goes back to that mission. She firmly believes and understands that the brand of CSU, that ramhead, elevating that brand is key to student success. By connecting you to a brand that continues to grow and be strong, that elevates your student success. It elevates the outreach and influences of this institution. It draws in more resources for this institution to support those academics and the research. It draws in more resources to support that institutional competitiveness. She understands and accepts that risk because it's key to driving that mission. And there's also a risk that is a sort of an elephant in the room over the last couple of months. When you think about those ideas of access and excellence going hand in hand, there's currently a national political debate that would say that some of those things may not be quite in vogue. Some of those things may be subject to different viewpoints and different pressures from different places. And when you're mission driven and when you stay focused on those things, you have to start analyzing, how do we stay focused on that mission? What's the work to get the things done for students and for our staff and our stakeholders? And what I can tell you, what she is not willing to risk is your opportunity and your success. And so as she goes through and as her team goes through and analyzes how we navigate what are uncertain times right now, staying focused and staying mission driven is incredibly important. Because that is how you have impact. That is how you lead with impact. And if you as student leaders want to have that leadership with impact, again, mission driven and being able to answer that question for yourselves, what are you willing to risk? Now, as I stand here tonight, I am not currently a CSU Ram. I am a CSU Pueblo Thunderwolf. But in coming months, I will return and be a CSU Ram. And I do so proudly, and I do so knowing that you are all doing a wonderful job of the work, that you are doing a wonderful job of coming together, collaborating, and fighting for the things we jointly believe in. And much like New Kids taught us, you're hanging tough. Thank you all for your time tonight. Thank you all for the invitation, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Rico. Very inspiring. You're also giving me a run for my job with those jokes. But I did want to touch very briefly on something for those of you who may not know by the tie or the name tagger. I say it about every 10 minutes. I'm a presidential ambassador for Amy Parsons, our distinguished president. She's actually an ASCSU alum. And so really quick, in the words of Braxton Dietz, Amy, please stand and be recognized. It's going to be very hard to follow Rico's speech, but I do think we chose a person who can give you a run for your money. Inspiration to us all, personal friend of mine, somebody I've learned from. Please welcome to the stage our very own Deputy Chief of Staff, Jillian Cook.
Hello and good evening. My name is Jillian Cook, and I take pleasure in serving as the Deputy Chief of Staff for the 2024-2025 DeSalvo Dietz administration. I begin by addressing a question I'm sure we have all heard countless times. We have received it by friends, by classmates, roommates, colleagues, and parents, allies, and even critics alike. For me, it has served as a source of motivation, but for others, perhaps a source of agitation. It is bothersome, tiresome, troublesome, and yet all quite accurate. And the question I am referring to is, what does ASCSU even do? With shock, we think to ourselves, what do you mean, what does ASCSU even do? Surely you are aware that we provide funding for your student organizations, fight for access to affordable food and housing, hold the campus accountable for sustainable initiatives, educate you on your rights as CSU students, serve as liaisons to your academic administrators, oppose tuition increases, hold tailgates, and support the graduate population. The free New York Times subscription that you love playing Wordle on, that's us. The abolishment of U+2, that's also us. So surely you can't be serious when you ask the question of, what does ASCSU even do? Surely you meant to say, what does ASCSU not do? And yet, I know the question to hold validity. I know the question to have both merit and justification. Because I cannot stand up here with conviction and say that I expect every one of our 26,000 undergraduate and 7,000 graduate students to know exactly what we do. I cannot stand up here with conviction and say that they are wrong to question us, because it really is all a question of perspective. Some see us as a group of ex-student body presidents wanting to chase that feeling of authority just for one last time. Some see us as a group of entitled student leaders with a tendency to overlook their needs and mismanage their student fee dollars. And some, candidly, don't see us at all. Maybe some of them have been right. Now, I am not here to make a speech on the impact of thankless jobs and demand that our efforts get the recognition they deserve, because that would be imprecise, irrespective, and ignorant to the perspectives that we need to understand. I am here to say that no matter who has praised your work and who has undermined it, no matter who has patted you on the back and who has not, that I am proud to have worked alongside you. I am proud to be among those who appreciate the slow process of progress and are indifferent to cutting the ribbon or laying the first brick. If you are in ASCSU to seek validation, then this is probably the wrong place for you. If you are in ASCSU to be the popular kid on campus, then this is also probably the wrong place for you. If you are in ASCSU to be surrounded by some of the most inspiring, involved, and intentional students on this campus, then this is absolutely the right place to be. I thank you for your time, your energy, your ideas, and your willingness to fight the good fight. And I encourage you to continue to open the space to those whose perspectives oppose it. The next time somebody asks you, what does ASCSU even do? Maybe respond with, well, what would you like us to do? The most powerful organizations are the ones who center their constituents, and I believe the Associated Students of Colorado State University to be on a very, very bright path to being truly associated. Members in the crowd, thank you for your dedication. Supporters in the crowd, thank you for always being in our corner. And most of all, thank you, ASCSU, for all that you are and what I know you will grow to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. Moving forward, from Grill the Buffs to Feast of the Food Trucks, this department is bringing the heat all year. Now introducing our next speaker, Q-Neek Blake, who will discuss the importance of leadership. Thank you, God. There we go.
Getting my steps in today. Okay. I'd like to pose a question. Have you ever thought about what truly makes a good leader? Like Adam said, my name is Q-Neek, and I have had the privilege to serve as the Director of Traditions. Alongside my amazing department, we have brought you this far: Grill the Buffs, student tailgating, and our most recent Rail Jam event. But beyond these fun social events, I've learned that leadership is much more than just a title. It's about growth, challenge, and most importantly, the impact we have on those around us. Google will tell you the definition of a leader is a person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. While this definition isn't fully wrong, this Google definition does not thoroughly dive in to what it takes to be a good leader. This year, I had an incredible opportunity to sit in with Terrell Davis as we talked about student leaders and how we impact our communities. During our discussion, he posed us with a question: what is a leader? My peers gave thoughtful answers. Some said leaders understand others, some said they listen, some said they execute. But his response hit different. He said, a leader is a person who creates better leaders. And that's when it clicked for me. A leader isn't just one mind, one person, one sound. It's about lifting others up and growing together. This year, I was tested. I had to have hard conversations and own my mistakes. Leadership is the ability to take perspective, accountability, and be able to adapt to adversity within an environment. I love this saying, storms make trees take deeper roots. I didn't just get through the storm, I grew because of them. To my team, you challenged me, you pushed me, and you made me better. It isn't about being perfect, it's about evolving. And this year, I evolved, we evolved. So as I stand here before you today, I will pose my own personal definition of a leader. A leader is someone who not only guides a team towards a common goal, but does so with transparency, accountability, and the humility to set aside their own pride in order to build others up. Thank you.
Thank you, Unique. Our next speaker is Madeline Camberg, hailing all the way from the Legislative Executive Cabinet, currently serving as our parliamentarian and a former senator. Please welcome her to the stage. Thank you.
I was wondering what you would say about me. I know that sometimes our branches get a little bit distant from one another. My name is Madeline Estelle Camberg, and I've had the immense honor of serving as the parliamentarian of the 54th Senate of the Associated Students of Colorado State University. Tonight, I stand before you not just to reflect on the past year, but to celebrate the resilience, dedication, and impact of our student government. This year has been challenging in a number of ways, and through it all, I am very proud to report that the 54th Senate of ASCSU is one of the most resilient, kind, and empowering we've seen in a very long time. I took this role to have a more neutral position and take a step back from politics while still serving an institution of democracy, the values of a democratic republic, and yet I find myself in an activist advocate role yet again. I've been honored to be a parliamentarian in the chambers and an activist, a legislative consultant, and community organizer outside of that space. From day one this year, we have tackled structural reforms head-on, making a record number of legislative and constitutional updates to ensure the transparency, accountability, and clarity of this organization. And I know that we are nowhere near done yet. We still have a lot of work to do. Shout out to the Constitutional Caucus Subcommittee. I also want to thank my team and the Senate for their patience with legislative leadership. We've been facing things that I don't want to say are unprecedented, but definitely challenging. So let's talk about some of the work we've done. This year so far, we've helped fund the EMS Club to make it an operational and licensed EMS service available for student orgs to use for their event, not only to make the campus a safer place, but also to ensure that students can get practical, hands-on experience while they complete their studies and have a competitive edge while applying to med school and navigating the job market. So far, we've not only funded Rams Against Hunger itself, we're also in the process of securing the funding for the pocket pantries for the next 3 years, allocating a total of $69,000 to the Rams Against Hunger program. We are also in the process of allocating funding to the Lavender Cabinet and the Pride Resource Center, which couldn't have happened at a more important time. Yes, snaps and applause for these things is certainly appropriate. At a time when the LGBTQ+ rights are being questioned nationwide, we reaffirm our unwavering commitment to inclusivity, equity, and standing in solidarity with our fellow Rams. Now, I say in the process because a lot of our work lately we've had to put on hold to prepare for the worst while praying for the best. This is something I'm extremely proud of our Senate for doing. We have wasted no time making sure that our ASCSU structure and our values are protected. For those here tonight who don't know this about ASCSU, We have one of the most diverse and inclusive governing bodies in the state of Colorado. Our cultural resource centers, and I will say their names in full to honor them tonight, and if you feel like you are part of one of these communities, please stand and we can honor you in this. The Asian Pacific American Cultural Center, the Black African American Cultural Center, El Centro, the Native American Cultural Center, the Pride Resource Center, the Student Disability Center, the Survivor Advocacy and Feminist Education Center. Our cultural resource centers each get representation in this space with 2 senators and 2 associates, along with some other constituencies that are not technically CRCs, but definitely worth mentioning. The Academic Advancement Center First Generation Council, the Adult Learners and Veterans Services Office, and the Multi-Faith and Belief Student Council. You see, it's embedded in our Constitution, the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we've been working really hard to protect that. It's been the center of our work for some weeks now. One of the most rewarding aspects of my role has been working alongside such dedicated student leaders to champion initiatives that directly improve our campus. Whether it's securing funding for Rams Against Hunger or ensuring that our governance remains inclusive or planning sit-ins in the admin building, we have remained steadfast in our mission to serve students. So, in addition to a record year for ledges and bills, I'm proud to say that the 54th Senate has also stood on business with a record number of resolutions. In our advocacy of our fellow Rams, we've taken a stand. This year, we took a stand to call for a School of Law and Policy here at CSU to empower students and increase access to education, a part of our mission as a land-grant institution. We took a stand to make all new buildings at CSU energy efficient with LEED Gold Standard or higher certified buildings. We took a stand to support Colorado having nonpartisan primaries and ranked choice voting. We took a stand to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. We took a stand condemning blackface, white supremacy, and racialized violence. And most recently, legislation we will be voting on and no doubt passing tomorrow is calling for more accountability and transparency from the CSU administration when events occur that impact our entire campus, and to stand in support of our immigrant students. These have been extremely trying times, and it does a disservice to history to call them unprecedented when we know that they're not. One thing I never thought that I would see in this political space is the unity and solidarity that has come from these uncharted waters. That is unprecedented. What is unprecedented is we have more seats filled and voices at the table than ever before. What is unprecedented is that we have new senators and associates every week, and they're jumping right in to write legislation, to get involved, to stand for their constituencies in ways that we have never seen before. It would be false to say that we have not been in some distress. We've all been working long hours, fighting for students round the clock to get emergent legislation finished and on the books. But I implore you to look around this room. Here in ASCSU, we are the descendants of those who carved a path for us to be here. Those who broke glass ceilings, we are the descendants of those who would not be erased. And for some in this room, we are not the descendants of, but we are the persons fighting not to be erased. So what is the state of this association? I believe the state of this association is resilient. And resiliency is deeply linked to hope. To stand, to fight, to persist, one has to believe in something greater. We have to believe in each other. And we have to believe in the power of our voices, our action, and our collective will to shape a better future. So tonight, as we reflect on the work we've done and the work still ahead, and there's a lot of it, let's carry that belief forward and remain unwavering in our commitment to justice, integrity, and the students we serve. Let's take the momentum that we've built, carry it forward, and continue to challenge the status quo, to advocate with courage, and to leave a lasting impact for the future generation of Rams. We're not just a student government. We are a movement and a legacy in the making. And legacies, they don't fade. They inspire, and they pave the way for those who come next. Our work is far from over, but this is our moment. This is our power, and our impact will endure. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline Camberg. Next, we have the Dream Team, Kate Collins and Sophia Hiller. Two extremely hardworking individuals here to discuss all the incredible actions they have taken for sustainability on campus. Round of applause, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sophia Hiller, and this is my second year serving as ASCSU's Deputy Director of Sustainability.
My name is Kate Collins, and this is my first year serving as the Director of Environmental Affairs for ASCSU.
Here at Colorado State University, we make environmental sustainability a top priority within our curriculum and engagement, as highlighted by our many national rankings. This year, the Princeton Review named CSU the #1 green college in Colorado and #9 nationally. We are the first university to earn a Platinum Stars rating 4 times. With multiple prestigious recognitions, it is nearly impossible to talk about CSU without talking about our commitment to sustainability-centered initiatives, organizations, and education. CSU's Climate Action Plan, established in 2010, acts as a driving force behind all of these accomplishments. Last updated in 2022, the Climate Action Plan has outlined CSU's goals of having 100% renewable electricity by 2030 and of carbon neutrality by 2040. As of now, less than 10% of our electricity comes from renewable sources, with 5 years left to reach our goal. As for complete carbon neutrality, our second largest area for improvement is natural gas. Most of our natural gas usage comes from our on-campus heating and cooling plants, both of which are reaching their end of life within the next 15 years. The drafted District Energy Conversion Plan would replace one of our cooling plants and our boilers with a combined heat recovery and chiller plant and thermal energy tanks. This would electrify the majority of CSU's heating and cooling, in turn decimating our natural gas usage and saving CSU $200 million in utility costs over the 60-year life cycle. Earlier this year, I wrote a resolution in support of this district energy conversion plan, which was passed unanimously in the ASCSU Senate, displaying enthusiastic student support on this project. To accomplish our quickly approaching climate goals, it is imperative that CSU implement projects such as the District Energy Conversion Plan. These large-scale projects have high capital costs, but they display our commitment to the long-term sustainability and cost-effectiveness as compared to business as usual.
We cannot talk about Colorado State University without acknowledging and highlighting our sustainability initiatives and the incredible certifications and recognitions that we have. We have strong goals and even stronger individuals fighting to make them a reality. However, it is critical that we highlight that much of the sustainability and advocacy work we see on our campus is voluntary. There is inconsistency in how we present ourselves as a top-ranking sustainable university and the recognition, pay, and appreciation that the sustainability advocates on our campus see. We are here tonight to acknowledge and thank those doing the work that often goes thankless. It is impossible for Colorado State University to meet our climate goals without a commitment to operational sustainability and prioritizing the change makers on our campus. We must begin to ask ourselves how much of our distinctions and recognitions in sustainability are for symbolic benefit. A sustainable reputation will not mitigate the climate crisis or reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Real, genuine change and a continued commitment to this change will. Colorado State University is home to outstanding sustainability advocates, dedicated faculty and staff, and highly driven students working tirelessly to create meaningful change on our campus. CSU is shaping the next generation of sustainable leaders, equipping us with the knowledge, tools, and passion to tackle the world's most pressing environmental challenges. I'm incredibly proud to witness the efforts of the Student Sustainability Center, Eco Leader Team, Zero Waste Team, the President's Sustainability Commission, and the many other organizations on our campus that turn vision into reality and continue to push the boundaries. As Director of Environmental Affairs for the Associated Students of Colorado State University, I've had the honor and privilege of serving the student body and putting ideas into action. My work would not be possible without the leaders who came before me and the veteran sustainability advocates who have forever changed CSU. Their dedication has paved the way for new initiatives, and I'm very proud to continue their legacy. In just a few short months, Environmental Affairs established the Sustainable Living and Fraternity and Sorority Life Council, continued the Coalition of Sustainable Student Organizations, created the ASCSU Graduation Gown Lending Library. We will be hosting the second annual Sustainability Community Roundtable in the spring, established the 4 environmental compost specialist paid positions in the Laurie Student Center, authored critical call to action legislation, expanded efforts to encourage waste reduction and mindful consumption, and continued to advocate for alternative transportation. It is imperative that we continue this work and push the boundaries harder than we have ever before. We cannot continue to neglect the environment and the ways in which CSU must change. I encourage everyone in this room to join us in the fight for change in our community and engage with what has been happening behind the scenes. It is for all of us to decide if Colorado State University will be on the forefront of the movement towards a green future, or if we will fall short of meeting our goals, committing to operational sustainability, and proving the worth of our university's reputation. Thank you.
Thank you both. I think I speak for everyone when I say that was truly inspirational. I hope everybody's doing okay. We're almost there, moving through. Stay awake. We got some Gatorade. No, it's almost Gatorade over there. But I would just now like to welcome to the stage the incredibly passionate, driven, empathetic, and a very strong contestant for ASCSU's Best Dressed Director of Basic Needs, Georgia White.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Georgia White, and I have the extreme pleasure of serving as the Director of Basic Needs for ASCSU. I've held this role for about 2 years now, and if you know me, you know that I love to talk about love. So tonight, my speech is called The Power of Community, ASCSU, and the Labor of Love. As we come together in this space, we're not just here to celebrate the work that we've done. We're here to reflect on what it truly means to build and sustain something greater than ourselves. We often use the word community to describe what we are a part of, but too often we let it remain just that, a word, a concept, something that we believe exists naturally in this world, rather than something that requires effort, care, and most importantly, love. So what does it actually mean to belong to a community, not just to exist in it, but to take responsibility for it? Community is something we choose, something we build, something we labor for. And that labor, at its core, is an act of love. The late Bell Hooks, a Black feminist writer, visionary, and scholar, taught us that love is an ethic, not just a feeling, but a practice, a commitment, a responsibility. She reminded us that real love is not passive or easy. Love is action. Love is labor. And if we are serious about building a just, inclusive, and equitable community, love must be at the center of everything that we do. At ASCSU, this work, this labor of love, is at the heart of our organization. Love here is not just an emotion, it is a practice. It is a way of being in a world that demands more from us than just simple words. So this is what love looks like in ASCSU. Love is the hours we spend shopping for food, stocking the pocket pantry, making sure that when a student walks through those doors, they find something that not just nourishes their body, but their sense of belonging. Love is believing in our agency enough to create the state of Colorado's first ever Higher Education Basic Needs Summit, because we refuse to accept Because we refuse to accept that housing insecurity and food insecurity are inevitable for our students. Love is cultivating organizational wellness, making sure that the work that we do to support others is also reflected in the way that we care for ourselves. Love is answering an email, taking a meeting, showing up because we know that someone is counting on us. Love is staying at the LSC until 10 o'clock at night on a Wednesday night, fighting for policies and programs that we may never personally benefit from because we are responsible for the students who come after us. That is the power of ASCSU. We're not just a student organization. Like Love, we are a force for real, tangible change. We have the power to decide where dollars get spent, which programs get rolled out, and which issues our administration pays attention to. And that is not a responsibility we should take lightly. Do not underestimate yourself. Do not underestimate the power that you hold. Every decision we make, every initiative we push forward, every student we advocate for, it all matters. Because in community, we are not just here to occupy space, we are here to transform it. And let me be clear, love is not easy. Love, when it is real, asks us to sit in discomfort. It asks us to challenge the systems that we have inherited, to listen when it would be easier to speak, to act when it would be easier to remain still. It asks us to hold space for people whose experiences differ from our own, and to build structures that support all students, not just those who have always been supported. Real community is not effortless. It is not simply about showing up when it's easy, when we receive recognition, or when it benefits us. It's about the work that happens when no one is watching. It's about showing up for each other time and time again, because we know that when one of us is struggling, we all are. As the Director of Basic Needs, I'm entrusted with representing every single student on this campus. But true representation is not built on assumption. It's built on connection. I must actively seek proximity, engage in conversation, and build relationships with those whose experiences differ from my own. Because if we are going to claim community, then we must be willing to do the work of honoring one another in real, tangible ways. Tonight, as we reflect on the work that ASCSU has done, let us not forget that this work, this labor of love, is never finished. That's because love is not passive or static. Love is a force that drives us to act with intentionality, to serve with integrity, and to care with authenticity. So I ask each of you tonight, how will you push this work forward? How will you make your love tangible? Not just in the moments when it's easy, but when it's hard. Because change is not inevitable. Progress is not automatic. It happens because people like you choose to show up, to fight for something better, and to believe that our actions, our choices, can shape the future of this campus and the lives of students who come after us. If we are to build a better CSU, a better world, we must be willing to love. Not in a shallow or sentimental way, but in a way that requires action, accountability, and care. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. You really are the heart of ASCSU's executive branch. We are truly blessed to work with you. Well, not me. I wasn't hired, so. But I'd now like to welcome to a member of our legislative branch representing the Pride Resource Center. Please welcome Senator Nevaeh Green.
Got some tall people in here. Anyway, they hid my speech from me. Wonderful. Hi, my name is Nevaeh Green. I'm a senator for the Pride Resource Center. Let me ask you something. If you saw an inflatable dancing unicorn while you were going about your day, would you or would you not smile? If that unicorn were drawing with chalk and waved you over, would you or would you not stop and draw with the unicorn? Many of you are thinking, stranger danger, no, I will not stop for the inflatable dancing unicorn, to which I say, but it's an inflatable dancing unicorn. Let's say, completely hypothetical here, you see a small box with wheels and a blinking flag just going on the sidewalk. Would you or would you not smile? Would you or would you not get out of their way? If said small box with wheels and a blinking flag brought you a pride flag, then would you or would you not smile? I'm talking about the robots on campus, by the way. If you haven't seen them, then you're missing out. They're adorable. I grew up in a pretty small town, and then when I moved to Colorado, then I went to an even smaller school. My graduating class isn't even half of this room. And we didn't have a student government, so when I came to CSU, I was wandering around the LSC, and I stumbled upon ASCSU. Wondering what was going on in there that I didn't need to know about, I wandered in there. So I was greeted by the front desk. Shout out to our front desk, by the way. I love our front desk. And they told me, you could come to a Senate meeting. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but sure, why not? And so I attended a Senate meeting, and I was so impressed by just the people, the vibes, in quote of Senator Minotti, the vibes were great. And excuse me, they printed out the wrong speech, and now I don't know what I'm saying. We're gonna close this, and I'm gonna freeball it. Thank you. I went to a Senate meeting. I was very impressed by everything going on in there, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I reached out to the Pride Resource Center, and I got in contact with Maggie, who's the best, and they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead, put on the uniform and go in the room. And I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. And on my first day, I was very scared. I was dressed all nicely, no one else was, but I was. And we talked about the dress code, and I was like, I feel so professional. And throughout ASCSU, ASCSU has allowed me to create the Week of Love, which some of you may know what I'm talking about, but a lot of you won't, so I'm going to explain really quickly. It's the week of Valentine's Day, and it's a time to celebrate all kinds of love, including and especially highlighting queer love. And that's something that I'm very passionate about, and queer joy is very important to me. Queer joy is essentially when gay makes you happy. It's when you look at my hair and go, rainbow, cool, awesome. And I get very happy about that, and that is because I know that my hair represents the trans flag, and that means a lot to me. So, I don't remember what any of my speech said. Thank you. But I'm gonna see if that anything was part of this. I am openly queer, and I'm not apologetic about it. Will I be walking home in the dark alone after I said that? No. But will I continue to say that without stopping myself or thinking of the consequences of saying that? Absolutely, because there shouldn't be a consequence to that. I should be able to say, hello, my name is Nevaeh, I use she, they pronouns, and I'm an asexual lesbian, without thinking who's gonna be mad if I just said that. This is why queer joy is important. It's important for us to say that we're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere, and we will continue to say that. So when you see the inflatable dancing unicorn that might be on campus, you never know, I encourage you to stop and take some time out of your day to draw with the dancing unicorn. Feel some queer joy in your life, and I do not care if you're wearing a suit and tie and you have class in 15 minutes. If you can get there in 10, draw with the dancing unicorn. That is all I have to say. I appreciate everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Neve. It's always refreshing to hear from our esteemed senators. How's everybody feeling? Good? It doesn't sound too good. There's still more food. I do have to say I was very hungry. I took a little break and I snuck over there. And there's like bruschetta, I don't know how you say it, but it's really good. If you didn't get it already, I would go ahead and get some. Our next speaker has been instrumental in shaping the direction of our legislative student government and working toward meaningful change on campus. Please join me in welcoming Brooke Reese, Speaker Pro Tempore of the 54th ASCSU Senate, to the stage. Thank you.
It's weird standing not behind a podium, specifically in the chambers, may I add. Hello, my name is Brooklyn Reese, and I am this year's Speaker Pro Tempore. We are at a precipice. The best assurance we can assure at this precipice in this time of uncertainty is the leadership we put forward now, and I am incredibly proud of the coalition we have developed within this space this year. Leadership is full of surreal moments. I started in this space as someone who knew someone in the 52nd. I started as someone who was told to sit on one side of the room. I started as someone who would set a timer on my phone trying to hype myself up to make my way into the office. But I also started as someone who wanted to see things get better, tangibly. I was upset with leadership. I was confused on why things that I felt were obvious weren't done, similarly to how I imagine new people coming into this space feel now. And I've most definitely found the beauty in it. I've found the assurance that if we lay the foundation now for people in our space to feel safe and empowered, we will only continue to get better, and I have utmost belief in that. Part of the beauty of the Senate specifically is that we have the ability to work bottom up. The Senate procures the solution. Leadership is just meant to help facilitate it. The Senate is what's in power of the legislative branch and are direct representatives of student constituencies that represent direct student interests. There is no level ahead to be had without protections in place for varied perspectives, though, and it's our job as student leaders to keep as level ahead as we can. Being an advocate doesn't relate to just outlining your or my ideas. It's addressing problems and finding the means of facilitating action towards a solution. There's no reliance to be had on entities who don't fight for us to rely on them, and if you aren't able to see the problem, you won't be able to be a part of the solution. This year, I believe we've made definitive progress, not the sort of progress that goes away in the spring, but genuinely transformative change. Some examples relate to, first, establishing onboarding. We also have current legislation redefining what our structure might look like in terms of at-large student representative. It's my bill, I should know what it is. As well as a voting caucus. We've made sure that caucus bylaws are required, which allows leadership to have better transitions within our space. We've facilitated contingency plan meetings in terms of what happens if our CRCs go away. We've had meetings with our college council senators. We've actively, student voice. Going back to surreal moments for a second, I am so incredibly proud of this body. The most surreal moments I've had in this space have most definitely happened this year. We've fostered such empathy at the forefront of what we do and communication with one another that was unprecedented last year. We've also engaged with more inter-branch relations. We clap for Nick now when he speaks. It's amazing. Our participation has also skyrocketed. We see that in our committees, we see that in our Senate attendance. We most definitely see it in how people are asking questions. This is something I'm probably most proud of. People are asking questions. I don't think a day has gone by where my phone or my email box has not had at least one person asking me a question about Senate. So many of the things that were roadblocks before we've jumped over this year, and in the ones we've found along the way, there has been such a stark difference in the sorts of dialogue we foster in finding the solution. We're asking ourselves, what can we do better? How can we support one another? And how do we fix what's wrong? The most surreal moment I've had in this space happened during an onboarding meeting, where I sat across from a senator who was asked what their first impression of ASCSU was, and they said it was welcoming. That is not the space I walked into, but it's the space I've been able to help create, and I don't think anything could make my heart feel more full. Culture is in the relationships we develop, sure, but it's also in the maintenance. My background in leadership stems from an embarrassingly extensive amount of time involved in scouting programs. One thing I'm very vocal and very proud of was my involvement in a thing called NYLT. It stands for National Youth Leadership Training, and it's my compass in all things leadership. Moreover, at NYLT, I learned a couple of things that are pertinent to this body. First being the stages of team development. The stages of team development are broken down into 4 steps: forming, norming, storming, and performing. This space loves to gravitate towards storming. But the best part is that we can get out of it, and we know that. The best part is that every problem we have is an opportunity to find a new solution. Additionally, trust is the currency of leadership. This comes from 2 things. 1, outreach. Outreach is essential. You can't expect people to come to you if you aren't willing to show them that you'll come to them. Additionally, it comes from authentic leadership. Our goal as a body is to serve and advocate for our constituencies, students, not be political actors. Leadership requires we rise above what's social within our space and work as the body is designed to through collaboration and respect for one another. Transparency and accountability are foundational to accessibility. Disillusionment is not acceptable in conjunction with safeguarding the values of our space. We owe each other community because community will bring us the solution. Another surreal moment I've had in this space was while attending a caucus meeting. Olivia's caucus, whoa. A good amount of our chairs were there, and a new senator asked why the culture of our space is so different, and the chairs in the room pointed at me. I wanted nothing more in that moment than to have had enough arms to point directly back at them 10 times harder. With that, shout out to the chairs. Thank you, Ellie, for your innovation. Thank you, Fiona, for your perspective. Thank you, Mitch, for your passion. Thank you, Jared, for your analysis. Olivia, for your heart. Lauren, for your due diligence. Vlad, for your authenticity. And Morgan, for your advocacy. Couldn't do it without you. Moreover, I'd like to also shout out the senators and associate senators in the room. 1, for your leadership, but additionally for your advocacy. To my understanding, which I'm under the impression is pretty comprehensive of the legislative branch, you hold the most power with your position within ASCSU, and you've wielded it beautifully this past year. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Hayden. Thank you, Judicial. Morgan, thank you for everything ever. You are my #1 role model in this space. I love you so much. Yes. Thank you to the Associate Justices. I've met a few of you. You're all very cool people, and I'm so happy and grateful to be able to share this space with you. Shout out to all of the members of Executive who have helped me and my team in the legislative branch. Thank you, Georgia, for being a safe space for me and my branch. Thank you, Jakai, for being a friend to my branch. I love ASCSU wholeheartedly. I love the Senate even more. I couldn't be more honored to serve the student body in this capacity that I've been able to hold this last year. I work the hours I do, I run around the office the way I do, I obsess in the way I do because I absolutely love it. I love everything we have and everything we can be. Additionally, I don't want anyone here to feel as if you are alone or that you're not doing enough, because we have the opportunity to continue working together and do so much more. Everything I do is ultimately because I believe in this body. Through true advocacy, through authenticity, through innovation, and through empathy, we will continue to get better and better and better. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Stay strong, everyone. Remember, we're Starwood Rams. We'll get through it. For our next speaker, we have a little saying going around. No matter when, no matter where, if you're in the office, Yesenia is always there. Yesenia is a master creative who knows no bounds behind the camera and is limited by even fewer strides on Canva. Please join me in giving me a warm welcome to y'all's Director of Marketing, Yesenia Enriquez.
supposed to write something on there? Jakaya, what have you? All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Cecilia Enriquez, and I serve as the Director of Marketing, aka also mentioned by Joseph as the best department here. I'm a first-generation student, a sister, a daughter, a creative individual, and above all, someone who sees the world through moments. I've come to realize that life is a collection of moments, shaped not only by our achievements, but also by the challenges we face. Challenges that contribute to the bigger picture of who we are and why we become the people who we are meant to be. Today, I will be reflecting on the accomplishments the Marcon team has achieved, as well as talk about the challenges and moments that brought us to where we are today. Throughout my time as Director of Marketing, I've found that creativity is at the heart of everything we've done this year. Every event, every communication, every piece of content, every marketing material, every visual was a reflection of the moments we wanted to capture and the stories we wanted to tell to the students and the CSU community. But none of this would have been possible without the incredible team I have the privilege to be surrounded by. Lily, Joseph, Evan, and the rest of my team and the interns, you all know who you are. Thank you for showing up and bringing the dynamic to our big efforts. Y'all helped me shape me into a better leader and a person overall. And these moments of working with you are ones I will carry forward. This year has been a year of significant change for me, both personally and professionally. At times, these changes felt overwhelming, if I'm being honest. Some were difficult, and some were unexpected. And others were a welcome shift. A lot of these moments occurred in my personal life, but ultimately impacted my professional life too. But through it all, I've come to understand that change is not something to fear. It is these moments of uncertainty that we grow the most. Change, even when it feels uncomfortable, has a way of pushing us to our limits, helping us discover the beauty we have missed if we have stayed still. So don't let the fear of the unknown keep you from embracing change. It is often in these moments of challenges and transitions that we find the greatest opportunities and create the most memorable moments we will look back at. Challenges will come, and they won't always be easy. But it's through these challenges that we truly learn who we are, as the Bible teaches us. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Romans 3, chapter 5. These trials shape our resilience and our ability to push forward. In facing challenges head on, we not only grow individually, we also grow closer as we intermingle with one another. In the end, it's the moments of hardship and how we respond to them that define our journey. Don't let the fear of failure hold you back. Instead, let it be the fuel that motivates you to keep going. Every challenge we face and every step we take happens for a reason. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for your neighbors. And even when you don't agree with the person to your right or to your left, have conversations that expand your understanding. Be present in your own story, because these moments, even the difficult ones, won't last forever. But their impact will shape who you become at the end of the day. Now, I want to leave you with one more reflection. Take a moment, take this moment. Appreciate them. Appreciate the people who are beside you right now in this very moment. Appreciate the challenges you've overcome to get where you are today. Thank you, ASCSU.
Thank you for all the incredible work you do, Yesenia. It's been my absolute pleasure to work beside you for the past year. I hope everybody's feeling better than they did the last time we were up here, because now I would like to introduce a very dear friend of mine and the greatest member ASCSU has ever had, the reason we're all here, the cause of all great things to occur, and the most handsome. He asked to write his own introduction. Join me in having a Baja Blast with Chief of Staff Jakai Nunley.
Oh God. First, sorry to all my colleagues. You really learn how to plan an event after planning the event, so. Right. Yes. So my speech is not in here. By chance, could somebody at this table hand me my phone? All is well. All is well. 2 seconds. All right. I get nervous and like when I speak in front of people, I don't exactly quite know what to say. I need to get the jitters out. So can we do a little wave if you can see me? Like a wave if you can see me. All right. I'm not nervous. You shouldn't be nervous now. The room is so good. Good evening. Yeah, I got this from you. For those in the room who I have not self-proclaimed as my best friend, give me some time, I just haven't got around to it yet. For the folks in the room who do know me, hello, it's Wednesday. I'm sure I've seen you for like 3 times this week already. Unless you're my family who drove up from Aurora, it is nice to see you for the first time since, well, New Year's-ish. For my family, a member of my family who is not here tonight is my grandma, who may be watching online, and to her, we must say thank you for all of my common sense. A slightly funny grandma story I must share is that after becoming the chief of staff, she asked me and she said, "Well, baby, what does one do as a chief of staff?" My reply was, "I'm not sure, and I'm certainly no Rico Munn, but I'll give it my best shot." Now that I have put it on your mind, I'm sure you too are wondering, what does the chief of staff do? And well, it's March and we're still figuring that out, so. I had no better transitions today, so today's speech will begin with the to begin. To begin. For those who believe that ASCSU is so incredibly serious, allow me to be the first to share that we have our serious moments. Serious like the first week of school when a student walked into the office requesting they speak to someone regarding the practices of bars and bartenders in Old Town, and 4 of my colleagues dropped what they were doing and stepped into action. Or when we spend tireless Wednesday nights at the Laurie Student Center listening to the stories of students who we model our programs and legislation after, in some cases, skipping out on homework, social time with friends, new love interest, or whatever the case may have you in exchange for presence with peers. Peers who place their trust in us to seriously allocate funding to their student organizations, endorse, sponsor, and create impactful legislation that will positively impact their life as a student, and be present to thought share, resource share, and connect. We, in these moments, act within our utmost sincerity, and I love that ASCSU. Allow me to also share that ASCSU is also incredibly unserious. In fact, I would be happy to let you know that we have inside jokes. We often note important matters in conversation as the talk not being cheap. Allow me to provide you a few examples of times when the talk wasn't cheap. There were 3 interns who took on a project titled the Public Initiative Tracker. Stand when I say your name. Ben, Isaac, and Greg. Ben, Isaac, and Andrew. Ben Greg is his name, I apologize. I am forever grateful that you took my shy idea and gave it wings. The Public Initiative Tracker compiles ASCSU projects into a public site for readily accessible use to all of our stakeholders, and that's you. Give them a round of applause, please. They're awesome. Thank you. This is a great example of the talk not being cheap. Instead, the talk being the value of transparency for an organization like ours. Similar to that, I'd like to highlight ASCSU relaunching the Purify Initiative, a program that allows students to loan at no cost air purifiers from the ASCSU space to take to their place of residence. This initiative is to ensure they are living in spaces that are optimal for this greater idea of wellness that we promote all throughout campus. The talk was not cheap. The talk was understanding students' basic necessities are a mandatory and non-negotiable portion of the conversation. I stand before you today to ask that you allow me to talk and to continue. I stand before you today to ask that you allow the talk to continue to be very, very, very expensive. Live a life that writes checks for the next person to cash in on better experiences, better treatment, better educational opportunities, and truly allow people a shot at their best outcomes. There is no better time to be in the positions you are in now than now. Show up for the people around you when it matters most, and when you show up, bring something that others around you can value. Create something that others can be proud to be a part of, because that's what leadership looks like. And this is the unserious ASCSU, an ASCSU that I also love. Allow me one more inside joke from ASCSU, please. I promise they're going somewhere. What good are the doors we open if we close them behind us? In application, what happens if we allow the talk to become cheap at someone else's expense? If the good things you want to occur stop occurring or never occur, what is our contingency plan then? You must create systems and programs that supersede your title and align with your integrity. As when the growing gets tough, those things will remain steadfast. The executive branch of ASCSU did not establish our first code of conduct this year because I'm the chief of staff. We established it because I am Jakai and I value creating good spaces for everyone I encounter. And this nuance in the system will live on because I was the chief of staff. Because I began with to begin, it is only right that I rely on my good old faithful to conclude. So, to conclude, after serving the Associated Students organization for the year and some change that I have, I also value the talk being pricey. Because when the talk is cheap, when the talk is on clearance, when there is a discount code for the talk, we truly get what we pay for. Thank you.
Great job, Jakai. One of my bestest friends, by the way. By the way, that speech sounded better than every cabinet meeting you ever gave. I didn't write that part of the speech. With that being said, it's my honor to welcome another one of our chief members, our Chief Justice, Morgan Wright.
Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan Wright. I serve as this year's Chief Justice. Before we begin, though, I would like to... Sorry, guys. Can I have my Associate Justices please stand up? Yep, I'm going to do that. Yep, let's give a round of applause. Yeah. I just would like to highlight the work that these young women have put into our organization. It's just incredible. And the next up I'd like to highlight is Garrett Lopez here. Yeah, he's our elections manager. Garrett, thank you. Yeah, Garrett is amazing. So I know that we have all sat through a lot this evening, and so I'd like to make this quick, if I can. So I'd like to start off with a question that I feel like most of you probably know the answer to. When has change
ever come easy. Have you ever gone to bed after hours of work just to throw it out the next day because the state of our world is moving at a pace not even a day's work can keep up with? Our generation has been asked to live with and adapt to inhuman speeds of information processing and what feels like historical events every month. I'm really not kidding with that. I'm actually so tired of the headlines, and it feels like I'm getting bombarded with information every 10 seconds. Okay, we're facing a new frontier of life. Technology that progresses more and more each day. Global and domestic political tensions that are highly polarized, and honestly, a generation of older adults who refuse to give up power in government. With these constant curveballs thrown at us, what are we as changemakers doing? Well, we're practicing our swing. Every day I walk into the ASCSU office and I see the dedication that each and every one of you have put into our campus community. I see the work being put in from every branch in uniquely different ways. I see an endless passion for student advocacy as the inertia that has always moved our organization. From legislation that allocates student fees to the pocket pantry, to the fight against U+2, or behind closed doors of appeal or pre-admissions hearings, we are consistently moving in the same direction, forward. I encourage us all to take a moment to pause amid our incredibly, and I mean incredibly, fast-paced lives and practice gratitude. My father, who's the wisest person that I know, taught me how taking a few moments of gratitude can ground you. He showed me that it's more than a mindset. It can be a reset. When things feel overwhelming and exhausting, taking time to reflect on the joys we have in life, our blessings, our successes, regardless of the struggles we might be facing in that moment. Gratitude turns anger into patience, fear into hope, and doubt into confidence. ASCSU, in the midst of all that we're seeing in our world, all that we will face in our college and professional careers, let us continue to stride forward in big ways, but let us also take time to practice gratitude. Take care of ourselves and our neighbors. When we do this for ourselves, we also do this for the longevity of our leadership skills and for the strength of our community. I'd also like to take a moment to highlight the efforts of the Supreme Court. Everyone on this branch works hard to serve the student body in various hearings, committees, and especially in support of ASCSU as a whole. I would also like to highlight the hard work of the elections manager. I'm not kidding. This role can be really isolating and demanding. This individual is asked to spearhead months-long efforts to orchestrate a campus-wide election that includes marketing, debates, and the overseeing of an elections committee, and in turn, the overall enforcement and upholding of the elections code. The court's role in ASCSU is very specific and very special, one that I have much gratitude for. Impartiality is an epic responsibility to bear. It takes a conscious and intentional effort. Humans are partial, and humans form opinions. The role of the court is inherently asking 8 individuals to rise above human nature and make active choices to stay impartial. These choices include extra research, staying quiet, actively listening, reflecting on personal experiences, and diligently processing and understanding every facet of a situation. I can confidently state that each member of the judicial branch puts in this exact effort every single day. So ASCSU, from the bottom of my heart, please know how much the judicial branch cares for this organization and for our student body, as well as how hard this branch works to support those within it. Each member takes on an exceptionally mature role to meet the demands that are asked of the court. For decades, each justice and elections manager has done it with the goals of servant leadership in mind. Thank you all for your time and the commitment to this organization and to our university. I encourage you all to walk in the mindset
of gratitude and servant leadership. For when we do, we experience the profound joy of lifting others. We leave a legacy of kindness, and we inspire a world where compassion and purpose lead the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. You truly embody everything an ASCSU member should be. Now, I would like to introduce University Affairs Chair Fiona Miller, giving a speech on behalf of Senate Membership Retention Officer Graham Kelly.
What's up, party people? Hey, exec. Hey, Senate. If you haven't had the experience of meeting me, my name is Fiona Miller. I'm speaking on behalf of Graham Kelly tonight because he unfortunately could not be here, so I'm going to be reading his speech kind of word for word. My name is Graham Kelly, and I serve as the Senator for the College of Natural Sciences and the Recruitment Retention Officer for the legislative branch. This is my third year of college where I'm working towards a biology degree, and I've been a part of ASCSU the entire time. In fact, I'm currently the longest serving senator. So if everyone with a paid position in the Senate, except me, happens to be on a plane and that plane goes down, well, let's just say there's going to be some changes around here. In all seriousness, ASCSU has been a defining part of my college experience, both good and bad, and over the years I've collected quite the array of stories, from attending city hall meetings and watching the reality show that is local government attempting to tackle U+2, to sitting through some pretty tense Senate meetings where non-germane sayings are being thrown around with alarming frequency, and even indulging in the occasional office gossip about what people said or did. I've certainly had my fun. When I first joined ASCSU, I saw the speaker at the time arguing with another senator. I was instantly hooked and I wanted to join, maybe meet some new people, and add something to my resume. What I found over time was a group of passionate people who genuinely care about improving student life. From advocating for better mental health resources to funding things that help students directly, ASCSU's decisions play a part in every student's time here. Serving as the recruitment and retention officer has given me a unique perspective. I get to meet so many people from different walks of life who all come together to try to make a difference. And let me tell you, nothing bonds people like debating on a bill until 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night. And it's in those late night debates, the heated discussions, and even the moments of levity that I've come to appreciate the dedication of my colleagues. While you may not always agree, sometimes it feels like you disagree for the sake of disagreement, and at the end of the day, most people here believe in something bigger than themselves. I've had the chance to work with some incredible people during my time here. Whether it's the friends I've made who keep me sane during those long meetings, I'm grateful for every conversation, every challenge, and every ridiculous Slack or Teams message along the way. And while most days it feels like student government is just a version of reality TV, there are also moments when you realize that the work we do matters. It matters to the students who feel unheard, to the organizations that need our support, and to the campus community that relies on us to advocate for their needs. To anyone considering joining ASCSU, my advice is simple: do it. It's a good enough club-like time commitment, and you'll meet people who challenge you, frustrate you, and inspire you, sometimes all in the same meeting. You'll learn about how this university runs and how you can use that knowledge to actually initiate change occasionally. As I look ahead to my remaining time here, I know ASCSU will continue to be part of my college journey, whether I'm in the office eating lunch with friends, attending another meeting, or just trying to recruit one more person to join the Senate. I've had a pretty good time. Thank you all for putting up with my shenanigans. It's been a wild ride, and as I get closer to the end, I'm going to try and have an even better time. Keep it real, and remember, the windshield is so much bigger than the rearview mirror because it's what's ahead of you that is so much important than what's behind you. And let's make it a priority within the branches to uplift other branches. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Our next and last speaker, you heard that correctly, last, exemplifies what ASCSU is all about. Leadership isn't about titles, it's about action. Please join me in welcoming ASCSU's two-term student body president, Nick DeSalvo, to the stage.
Well, hello, everyone. I try not to get too emotional most of the time, but I'm really proud of all of you, and I mean it when I say that. I was a little apprehensive when I saw how long the program was, and I thought to myself, we're really gonna keep these people here for that long? We did, even longer, actually. I want to thank everyone who's here, students, ASCSU members alike, community members, elected officials. I think it really shows the level of buy-in that everyone across the spectrum has for the work that we do as an organization. And I want to thank Rico Munn for being here all the way from CSU Pueblo. He has, over time, been able to guilt me into wearing a tie occasionally. Maybe the haircut's coming soon, I don't know. And by the way, just like the real State of the Union, feel free to interrupt me at any time with thunderous applause and standing ovations. The State of the Association is a newer tradition that was established by ASCSU intended to detail the work that we've done over the course of the semester, over the course of the year, and it serves as an opportunity to spell out the work that is to come in this organization. From the last time I gave this speech, ASCSU has celebrated a number of monumental wins, including, and certainly not limited to, the first piece of ASCSU-centered legislation run at the Capitol in nearly a decade, the revival of impactful events like Grill the Buffs and Rail Jam that create lasting memories for students on this campus, saving Rams thousands in tuition dollars by our advocacy with the Joint Budget Committee, and the elimination of an ordinance that has plagued students and residents in the city of Fort Collins for decades, known as U+2. By the way, if you didn't know any better, you'd think that me, Ava, and Braxton wrote our speeches at the same time together, but maybe we're just that locked in, so thanks, guys. While it may seem as though our toughest obstacles have been surmounted, there remain a number of pressing issues that student government has every opportunity and frankly every responsibility to address. As the former governor of New York, Mario Cuomo, said, there will always be more problems than solutions, more to be done than what has been done, more quests than conquests. The game is only lost when we stop trying. In my view, the most tangible and effective work that I've participated in during my tenure as student body president has been advocacy in front of the Joint Budget Committee. I want to extend my appreciation to the Director of Governmental Affairs, Ava Wilkins, Vice President Braxton Dietz, and Bowditch and Castle Public Affairs, our lobbying team, for being co-equal partners in this work. Give it up for them, please. This work, while it is almost entirely behind the scenes, has resulted in delivering positive outcomes for some of the most financially vulnerable students we represent on this campus. While it's an open secret that the state of Colorado does not invest in higher education to the extent that the rest of the nation does, students will continue to be an afterthought unless we are active participants in these state budget discussions. I worry a lot. It's one of the few things I'm very good at. But nothing worries me more than not knowing if future Rams will have someone at the table fighting for these pocketbook issues. I urge all of you who have a drive for continued service in this organization to deeply consider tuning in to this type of advocacy work. It's incredibly important. I'm a firm believer that everything has its season, and it's not lost on me that my season in ASCSU will soon come to a close. This is not my announcement speech for a third term. Colorado State University is a place I love, and ASCSU is an organization that has taught me a great deal about what it means to lead. I arrived at the presidency in large part through an advocacy campaign I began as Speaker of the Senate. After learning that a 2 to 5% tuition increase was coming, I drafted a petition to bring to the CSU System Board of Governors. It was my incomplete understanding that the reason tuition increased on a year-to-year basis was because the board and administration mismanaged money and they had the authority to stop an increase. I was wrong, and I will admit when I was wrong. As a consequence of my upbringing, being a student whose family straddled the federal poverty line my whole life, these issues of affordability were and still are very near and dear to my heart. Truthfully, I was angry. I was angry at the idea that the institution would consider raising tuition, especially when I thought about the financially vulnerable students it would hurt the most. Aristotle teaches us that anyone can be angry. That's easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not easy. After I ascended to the presidency, it soon became clear to me that my anger and energy was not channeled in the right direction. Colorado continues to rank at the bottom of states as it pertains to public investment in higher ed, and as a result, much of the affordability advocacy I championed was shifted to the state's Joint Budget Committee, the entity that engages in this figure setting for higher ed. As a result, this behind-the-scenes work has saved each individual student thousands of dollars in tuition money, regardless of whether they're aware of it or not. My point is that anger is a tool. We all have many reasons to be angry. Simply open up a news app or click through Instagram stories and you will find an endless supply of rage-inducing content. However, unless we channel that energy in the correct way, at the correct time, to the correct people, our feelings are merely feelings. I ask all of you, how do we turn our feelings and convictions into tangible outcomes? In this regard, our approach matters as well. If I walked into meetings with members of the Budget Committee with hostility and condescension, the first meetings would have very well been the final ones. Justice Sonia Sotomayor famously said, "Don't mistake politeness for a lack of strength." I'm not telling you to go along to get along. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that you attract more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. We're at an inflection point in the work our organization does. As mentioned earlier, we have a laundry list of reasons to be angry. But the way in which we approach that anger and who we approach with that anger will make all the difference in our success in tackling these issues. Now, perhaps I'm breaking some conventions of a State of the Association speech, but I'm not going to assign any particular word to the condition of ASCSU. Instead, the condition of ASCSU is defined by each of us every single day, with every single action we undertake as student leaders. I've had some very difficult moments in this organization, and I certainly don't say that for sympathy, but there have been times that have thoroughly demoralized me. Instances where I have questioned why I spend so much time caring about producing results for students who will never understand the type of work that we do here. What has kept me motivated is going home each day and asking myself, today, did I make a positive difference in the lives of the students I represent? That answer has consistently been yes, and it's the reason I'm here today as the first two-term student body president in over 3 decades. Now my season is almost over, and the future of ASCSU sits before me. George Will said that points don't stay proven and battles don't stay won. So I encourage you all to stay in the fight that affects great change in the lives of our students, regardless of recognition or praise. The state of ASCSU is in your hands, and it's our obligation to be the change in which we seek. Thank you all for your hard work and dedication. Thank you for being here. And as always, go Rams.
Thank you again, Nick. As we wrap up tonight's State of the Association address, as we kept you long enough, I want to thank you all for your time, your voices, and your commitment to making this university a better place. If you want to stay involved, consider attending student government meetings, joining committees, advocating for issues that matter to you, or even running for office yourself. Who knows, you could be the next Nick. Tough crowd. Change happens when we show up, speak up, and work together. A huge thank you again to our student leaders, faculty, and all of you for being engaged and shaping our campus community. Let's keep the conversation going and turn ideas into action. I won't be the last voice that you hear tonight. I'll leave the beauty of ending this event to Jasmine Retland, now welcoming her angelic voice back to the stage to sing I Was Here.
Say I lived each day until I died, knowing something that meant something that I left behind. The hearts I have touched will be the proof that I leave, that I made a difference, and this world will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here.
Sorry, one last thing. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate you sticking it out. We're done. Have a good night.